abstract artists have their own language. It's non-representational. So you're describing and activating a space, a two-dimensional space with any mark making you want that doesn't have to show depth or light or form. And all those things are the rules of a traditional landscape or still life or a portrait don't exist. My name is Jason Rohlf. I am an artist from Brooklyn, New York. I was born in Milwaukee in 1970. My parents were young hippies here, and we've lived all over the state of Wisconsin until I went to college here in Milwaukee at UWM. And after about 10 years of making art in Milwaukee, we had a loft down on Old World 3rd Street by the Bradley Center. And we moved to Brooklyn about 15 years ago, and that's been our home ever since. The full name of the exhibit is Navigational Aids, and I was really thinking about the things that help guide you through your decision-making process. And right now in the information age, we get a lot of conflicting information, so you'll get a piece of information that takes you to what you want to do, and then you'll get a piece of information that might lead you away from that, and that it's up to you as an individual to reconcile those two experiences and then make your decision. And I think the way the work looks is there's a lot of information coming at you, and then you as a viewer figure out your way to navigate through that space. I love it when magical mistakes occur in a painting. The inspiration comes from just about everything that I experience in my day-to-day. So it could be a construction site, it could be some piece of graffiti on the street, it could be like a sticker that's slowly eroding, and just seeing the different layers of how everybody interacts with their environment. And then trying to capture that as a feeling. I'm not really illustrating it, but I'm more trying to get the essence of it. And I wanted to kind of have that growing and decaying and growing and decaying. And a lot of that is almost a combination of what I experienced here in Wisconsin and out in Brooklyn, where things sort of age and rust and patina, and then they're repainted and resanded and reclaimed. And I wanted to show that whole transition process happening in the new work. I'll start with a raw panel or a canvas panel and start to add layers of collage and thick impasto layers of paint where the paint almost looks like cake frosting. And then I will start to incise. I'll draw into the back of the paint with a paintbrush, and I'll start adding layers of tape and cut pieces of paper, collage, and it starts building up. Once I've got what I think is the outermost layer, I will start to sand and use razor blades to sculpt back into the painting and reveal the things that once had been hidden underneath. There's a star-like pattern that I use that is more like a wind star or a compass rose. Some of these images feel like lunar landscapes, like a survey of a planet where there'll be sort of like geographical markers. Some feel like a map where you'll have like a little designation, a dot for where an intersection is or a population center is. And I like taking all of those symbols and taking them out of their original context and then putting them in as a visual element. So people who are engineers or map makers will look at these things and they kind of have a feeling that they've seen this stuff before, but I'm using it almost for its aesthetic quality. The birds were always a little side project. My studio here on 3rd Street in Milwaukee, when I started making the birds, was on the 2nd floor right at the tree line. And the birds were always sort of hopping around in our windowsills or in our window boxes. And then I realized that I kind of wanted to draw the birds interacting with the paintings. And so now I've made the inside of the bird mimic whatever the subject matter is in the abstract paintings. So it's as if the birds have seen the abstract paintings, gotten back together, and now they're having a conversation about what they experienced. A favorite painting for an artist might be different than a favorite painting for the viewer. My favorite paintings are the ones that were the most challenging, that maybe gave me the most trouble. The squeaky wheel gets the grease sort of thing. You know, sometimes there's a painting that just was not coming together in the way you imagined it, and then you make those last few decisions that it just starts to glow. And then there's a piece we used for the show card called The Fortune Teller that was really resisting being done for many, many, many months. And then when we decided to use it for the show card, and we came up with a title. All these really disparate elements came together to give us something that, you know, I felt very proud for. And when you put something on the show card, usually that's your darling. You know, that's sort of the bright star. In the digital age, it really, I think, is important to remember that things can be made with your hands, and that somebody stood over a table with tape and paint and brushes and tools and actually constructed something from nothing. To step away from your desk or from your day-to-day and just to come and ponder on something visual that's in front of you that was actually made by another person. That person is bringing something that the only purpose of that object is to give you something to reflect on and look at and conceive new ideas and react to. That would have to be my joy, is that there's still somebody out there actually, you know, doing something with their hands and bringing it to a viewer to come and experience.